Peace and love to you all. The World Cup is here upon us. Come on, England! Football has always had a special place in my heart. I played it when I was a kid, as a youth, growing up, been in loads and loads of football teams, not professional, mainly because my football was in Australia. And you had to come to England back then if you wanted to get into a professional side. You know, you could start off with the lower leagues, work your way up. If you were really gifted, you'd get picked with selectors, and they would always be able to find you a team out of all the vast amount of football clubs that we've got in this country. You'd always get, if you've got ability. You know, if someone sees something in you, they will very, very quickly get you a place. That's how it used to happen in England and Scotland and Ireland and Wales. In Australia, probably they do have selectors back when I was playing football, but you had to be in the right places, because if you lived in Sydney, all they were interested in was rugby league. And if you was just a footballer like me and you're on the coast, it's almost like they treat you like you've got, two heads or something like that. They just don't respect you because you're not playing their football, which is rugby league. And that's how I was treated. But I didn't care, because I really loved what you guys call soccer in the United States, what we call football. It's the greatest game. There's probably more countries, I would say, that play football than any other sport. I mean, if someone can prove me wrong, then great, do it. So we got off to a great start. Now, I know we're playing the USA on Friday. Tonight we've got a match, not us, in our group we've got a match to watch. I think that's Australia. They're playing later. And as that's my second country where I used to live in, I will be watching Australia, and I'll be rooting for Australia, as long as they're not playing England. If that happens, obviously I'll have to support England. And on Friday, I'll be supporting England against the USA. Now, I want to beat the USA because football means everything to our country. Now, I don't believe it means everything to Americans. I believe that, just like Australia, there are parts of America that don't respect people that play the beautiful game of football, soccer. And you're not treated with the same respect if in America, if you were a gridiron player. An American football player is likely to get more respect, or a basketball player in the United States is likely to get more respect. Just as in Sydney, a rugby league player that goes into an RSL club, which is, you know what an RSL club is likely to get much more admiration than a soccer player that goes in there. Unless, of course, he's a World Cup international great that's recognisable. Anyway, like Messi or David Beckham, people like that. In Sydney, they'd certainly roll out the red carpet for Mal Meninga, a great Australian rugby league of the past, who I actually did really like. I really thought Mal Meninga was a great player, really good. And that's the way it is. It's your country can respect a sport, but not truly love it the way in England we love our national sport. It absolutely means the world to us, and that's why we don't like it when we lose and we get dumped out of the World Cup early. We particularly hate it, and I always go into a spiraling depression after the World Cup if we get dumped out. If we say get to the quarters and then we get dumped out, that's me in a depression for 2 weeks. If we get into the semis or we got into the final, and I think that there's a bit of hope there, and then we don't quite do it after that, I am in a depression. It takes me ages to get out of it. So what is the World Cup? It's just nationalism. It's a chance to wave the flag, isn't it? It's your chance to wave the Union Jack in front of the faces of the world, just as the USA on Friday were waving their flag, the good old USA. And of course they've got Joe Biden backing them now. I saw that phone call where he just was wishing him all the luck. He probably doesn't know much about football. But I'd tell you one thing, if the USA go on to win the World Cup, I think Joe Biden will know a lot about it then. And that's sometimes what happens. These dignitaries and these figureheads, they'll make a token offer of support for a national team, not knowing really what that team is all about. It's just because, they're the leader of that free world. It's a good thing to do. Seen it time and time again. Thatcher did it. And all the prime ministers, they've all done it, even though they've not known anything about the sport. They've just wished the national team luck. Because, again, like I keep saying, it's nationalism. It's a chance to put your flag and wave it in front of the world. And it's also a distraction. Football, cricket, rugby, any of these sports on a world level acts as a distraction because all your attentions, all your focal abilities are on that sport and on the competition at hand. So you're not thinking about Ukraine. You're not thinking about what atrocities are being committed there and what Russia's going to do next. Because the good old World Cup is there to take your attention away from it, which I don't mind. So for the next few weeks I'll be thinking about football and not about Ukraine. There you go. I think they've achieved their objective. I'm sure that's what it's all about. See y'all.